And to come through that and to get that third goal and to take it to extra time and to get that winning goal, you've got to give credit to Inter.
Barcelona shot themselves in the foot the first 45 minutes. Today, Barcelona, overall, I don't think that they were great.
They went away.
But in the first 45 minutes, the Inter could have not done anything, but they went ahead and they scored 2 goals, and you got to give Inter credit in that sense.
They went away from home in the first leg and scored 3 goals when no one thought they had a chance. Like, Inter deserve it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Phenomenal.
You want to put these two teams next to each other? Being for real?
What are you talking about?
So you're saying the better team over 2 legs didn't go through?
I'm not talking about quality. Quality aspect, that's not denying that. I'm saying, yes, Barcelona were the better side, more entertaining side, but Inter deserve it. I told Inter, for me, you cannot say that they haven't shown every aspect of football.
But
it's not always about playing pretty football. It's about showing character,
so hang on a second,
desire, heart.
So, Grella, are you saying the better team didn't advance to the Champions League final?
When we're talking about football, talking about the ball here, this ball, on the ground, football, pure football. One team is in a different stratosphere. The game, the result doesn't reflect only football. We understand that. We understand that. Inter scored.
No, I'm not going with that. I'm not going with that. No.
But I'll tell you something.
No.
Hold on. Let me ask you one question then.
Go on.
Inter beat them or Barcelona beat themselves?
Well, you could look at it both ways, but for me, football.
I know the answer.
Didn't Inter defend them well?
Inter defended well.
They defend them well, conceded 6 goals in 2 legs.
Football is more than Poppy. Football is more than just pass here. Oh yes, look, let's do this. As you like to say, bing bong, bosh.
That's not what they did.
No, Inter showed heart and resilience. Even when Barcelona come back into it, and Inter was suffering. That's part of football. You know that's part of football. Because if you're in that picture, those Inter players,
so Inter beat them.
Inter won the game.
Yeah.
They come back.
Barcelona didn't beat themselves.
Inter beat them.
Before the game, Barcelona tied their 2 legs together and they played like this, hopping around like this, and still almost beat them.
Inter beat them.
They're the underdog. They played well.
Yes.
They outlasted one of the best attacking teams in world football.
Exactly.
That's your way of showing happiness.
I have to say the truth. I have to say the truth.
Talking to Mr. Sunshine over here.
I'm a lover of the game of football. And
so
for me,
which style did you like better?
Which truth?
Because I have a counter argument to what he's saying. I want to hear what you have to say.
Close to the truth?
I do feel it's a little extra negative. Go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
I have this. Watch the goals that Barcelona scored, and then watch the goals that Inter scored. I'm not saying that Inter don't deserve to be in the final. I'm not saying that Inter are not fantastic. You don't make the Champions League final if you're not fantastic at certain things. They were very clever in their approach, and they were very efficient. But watch the goals that Inter scored. They win the ball in the midfield on the first goal. 2 passes, they score. Barcelona had to make a magic, unbelievable goals. You could pick any of the 6 goals and say, wow, amazing. We said it ourselves. Oh, yeah. Entertaining. It's amazing. Yamal. Oh, Rafinha, gold ball. It's amazing. Inter with 1 ball. They win 1 ball. Boom, 2 passes, goal.
So why isn't that good football too?
But that's good football to you? Which goals did you like? Did you like the Barcelona goals, or did you like the...
Look how Real Madrid got to the Champions League final a couple of seasons ago, even the season before. Against Manchester City, they weren't the better team. They hung on
They got slapped against Manchester City.
For 120 minutes or whatever it was, for over 2 legs, in order to progress.
I agree.
And maybe that's what... Today, and this series, Inter needed to do against Inter to find a way. No. I'm not saying Inter was Real Madrid in this case. I'm saying that they adapted to the circumstance, knowing that they were the inferior team, in order to advance. And that's what they needed to do against this Barcelona side. They saw their weaknesses.
Of course.
And on the flip side, listen, Barcelona has been entertaining all season long, without a shadow of a doubt. What did Cruyff say? Cruyff said, I'd rather win 4-3 than win 1-0. Okay, perfect. Push has come to shove. The margin of error was smaller, and they ended up showing that they're a team that couldn't display their full qualities in order to progress to the biggest stage in football, which is the Champions League final. And a team that understood that they were the inferior team was going to adapt. They punched when they needed to punch. I never saw Barcelona lose so many second balls like they did in this series against Inter. The ball over the top in the midfield in the very first 30 seconds of last game. Lautaro winning in the midfield, those balls, they were snappy with that, Inter. And they recognized that's what they had to do. They recognized that, hey, we're probably going to be without the ball. What was the possession? They were probably going to be without the ball.
67-33 the first game. I don't know what it was tonight.
71-29 this game. They probably knew that they were going to be without the ball for the majority of this series. And Inzaghi said, boys, we're going to suffer, but we need to be efficient. And Inter ended up being efficient. I don't think you can take anything away from that. And sometimes you feel poorly because, not that you feel poorly, there's a certain taste in your mouth that you say, the better team didn't progress.
But Grella, I don't understand what you mean, because you're saying Barcelona's defence was so terrible. Yes, their attack is good. So isn't this what you absolutely love? Italian football.
Yes.
You always tell the story of the old man, the young man, the old bull, the young bull, whatever it is. That was exactly how it played out today. And normally you love that. So why the difference today?
Because precisely, it's like Barcelona is like somebody you watch, and I have zero tied to Barcelona, and we only started to follow them more so in the Champions League, obviously. And when I watch them play, how is difficult not to fall in love with the style of football of Pedri, Yamal, Rafinha. I'm not a fan of Barcelona, but when I think about football, when I think about something that makes me happy, or something about something I want to show my kids, I want to show them Barcelona play when they have the football. I want to cover their eyes when they don't have the football, because it's the stuff of nightmares. But it's like a friend that goes to work all day to make $300, and then at night he gambles it all away. That's exactly what they did. On the ball, it's like some of the best football we've ever seen. It's the reason why we watch football. Well, none of us got into football, maybe except for Nigel, but none of us got into football to watch a team play with 29% possession and then grind it out. Yes, so occasionally you have to manage moments and manage games, but we watch football for Ronaldinho, for Maradona, for Pele, for the beautiful goals that you can score, for the beautiful moments, for the dream of
No
kid plays football and says, yeah, I don't want to touch the ball for
no, Grella,
more than half the game.
I disagree with that, because everyone knows as players there's levels to it.
I told you.
You have to play to the level of players that you have. Inter playing to their strength of the team that they are and the players that they are. They're not going to compete for possession with the ball of Barcelona and outrun them because they're not athletic. They can't compete in that sense.
Because which team's better?
No, because they're an older team, Inter, and they don't have the players. They're playing to the strength of the players. So for me, what you're saying is, I understand that to a certain degree, but you've got to give credit to Inter because...
I am giving credit to Inter.
No. Because you're not giving the full credit, because you know as well as a player, the biggest thing is commitment, desire and will, which is what Inter showed today. They didn't have it all their way in the entire game. And if you don't have that as a foundation as a player, it doesn't matter how good you're on the ball.
I agree.
If you don't have that aspect of it, yes, Barcelona played a better football and everything like that. But when you watch that game again, you look at Sommer's performance, Cherby's, some of them Inter players, it's about that. That is part of football. That is the foundation of football that we grow up on.
It's an ingredient of all those things.
Don't have those basic ingredients to compete, you're not going to be watching any football.
And I suppose
if they don't do that basic,
but I wouldn't say that Barcelona didn't compete.
I'm not saying that, but you're not giving Inter more credit. I would say they did, because they got...
You think Inter competed more than them?
Grella, they were 3-2 down, right? They were suffering. Even we said, oh, Inter look gassed. Inter look like there's nothing. And to come through that and to get that third goal and to take it to extra time and to get that winning goal, you've got to give credit to Inter, because that's all the ingredients of a player. How many games have you played in when you're getting slapped city? That's like...
I agree.
Do you know what that's the equivalent of? That's the equivalent of saying, all right, so we're not as good. Back in the day, we're not as good. We're going to go to Old Trafford, the great Man United teams and the great Arsenal teams, and we're going to down tools because, well, they've got Bergkamp, they've got Henry, we're just going to down tools because they're better than us. That's not football.
Yeah, but they were better than you.
They were better than us. They were better than us, but I tell you what.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's fine. They were better. But they were better. But you know what? They were better. But the mindset and the mentality changed, and we said, all right, let's roll these socks up, let's go. And what happens?
I agree.
You get a result. So someone doesn't get credit.
Hold on. I agree with you. But I would never make the argument that Inter showed more grit and competed more and worked harder and wanted it more. I think that's like an easy storyline to fall into because of an Italian side and they were clever. When you play the way Barcelona played and the way Flick wants to play, you can throw grit and talent and everything out the window. When I see a back line come up like this with no pressure on the football and they're saying, hey, play it in 50, 60 yards of space behind us, that's why they lost this tie. They didn't lose this tie for me because they didn't want it. You see guys crying at the end of the game. I thought they competed. I thought they won first balls, second balls. I thought Inter also, take nothing away from them. They competed as well. But when you play in a way, like I said many times, that you put your head inside the alligator's mouth, eventually, boom.
Listen, I think there's a flip
That's
side
why
to
they lost
everything.
this tie.
That's a flip side to football. There's no one reason Barca deserved to do so many mistakes. Yes, I agree. Today was a very imprecise game from Barcelona. There's a flip side to everything. I think if I had to rank them, I would say Barcelona lost this game. It was the onus was on them, and they
guarantee
they did
Inzaghi wouldn't feel that way.
Of course he would,
be like,
because
we won that game, because he's right. He's right to say that.
Of course. But then, if Barcelona opens the door, and Barcelona are so poor, because I do think that they have better quality overall, but they didn't show it today. Over 120 minutes, there were times that it was unorganized.
They should have with the ball.
It wasn't committed, huh?
They show their quality with the ball.
They show their quality with the ball. But
in both legs.
Defensively.
But defensively, they showed their weaknesses.
It was all over the place. Somebody was misstepping. That back line, it was rarely in a line. Gerard Martin looked like a little kid against Denzel Dumfries.
Inter won or Barcelona lost?
The beauty of the two teams and the beauty of the game that they expressed today, you can't say that somebody lost. Of course, Barcelona has much more opportunity. They have hit the post in the last minute, and they can defend a little bit better on the last goal that they concede, you know, at the 3-3, missing what, 30 seconds. But yeah, with all this, if we don't build nothing, you cannot build nothing. So Inter deserve to pass through, and that's it.
On Barcelona's point of view, imagine this team that hasn't got much experience, is a young side with Lamine Yamal a year older, adjusting the defense, because what they're not going to do is change 1 centimeter the way they approach a game. This is it. Hansi Flick offers this. Do you want it? Actually successful. They won 2 cups. They managed to get to the semi-final of the Champions League, scoring 6 goals against a team that had conceded 5 in the rest of the tournament. So they've got all that to them, but if they adjust matters a little bit. Araujo came on and made a couple of mistakes for one of the goals, certainly. You had a team that obviously, when they are tired, they open up and anything can happen to them. But they won't change. This is Barcelona, this is Hansi Flick, and the fans, they're gone now. They were here until about 5 minutes ago, the Barcelona fans. They're very, very proud of the side, and they clap them. The players feel absolutely empty, but there will be a time when they will say, what we did was extraordinary this season.